Hey, welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 51. We're back with Trail Trash. I'm Graham. We've got Luke, Richie, and Cody, the usual suspects on. And I know we left off talking a lot about the green Jeep, and we didn't really hit into the Comanche too much. And I know you guys just had a Windrock trip, and we'll see where conversation goes as far as meandering through that. But I think we decided we want to start talking about the Comanche. And I know you guys have been doing, I don't know, with the Windrock trip if you've been working on it, but how's that going now, and what's left on it?
Well, I guess first, thanks for having us back. I'll pretty much let Casey give you the update on the Comanche, let you know where we're at on that, what we've done, what we have left to do.
I don't know. You want an origin story from the get-go, or
You're laughing, so it's got to be good.
we try to do a small little video series of it from the time that we picked it up until now. It really wasn't something that I wanted to do, so to say, at the time. But my brother had mentioned that he knew a guy that had a couple of Comanches that was sitting in his backyard and wanted to sell them for pretty cheap. And this him hauled around for probably, I guess, a month, maybe.
Yeah.
And so finally we just went over and looked at them. And one, he went running off in a ditch and just completely warped the whole unibody. So it wasn't something
that we have that.
Yeah, we still have it. The other one was sitting in the guy's backyard. It caught on fire at the battery, and he just kind of left it sitting there. And I think he said it ended up sitting there for like 6 or 7 years. And the black one was in. Do what?
Also, is that the one that you ended up with?
Yeah, I mean, at first I ended up with both of them because he said, "Well, if you want to go in halfwards, that's fine." He said
the guy who was selling them would only sell them together.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
You had to take them both.
And so my brother's got a red one too, so he thought that he would use some parts and piece off it to put his back together. And the day we got over there to buy them, we was standing out trying to figure out what we was going to do about getting the black one out of the backyard. And he's like, "Hey man, if you want to buy both of them, that's cool." And I was like, "Man, right now," he was asking $500 for both of them, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And then later on, he just ended up talking me out of the red one again. I don't think he ever paid me. If you're listening to this,
You owe $250.
Shit, that's like half the cost of a fucking 40 these days.
I just spent an absurd amount on 2 new 37s.
How much did that end up whacking you? I have to ask.
$1,000 for 2 tires.
Fuck.
It was fucking ridiculous.
I was looking at picking up another Nitto because I'm gonna end up with one of them fucking Steelies, and it's $500 fucking dollars for another goddamn 40 Nitto.
Yep.
That's painful.
It's literally like fucking $60 more for me to go with a fucking sticky and just start going down that fucking path.
One at a time.
I don't. After seeing some of the guys out there this weekend, I've been looking at 700 and something odd dollar tires.
TSL SXs. Yeah, those things are fucking mean.
Right, so you bought the red one. No,
so we ended up buying the red one. So that day we brought a trailer with us and we loaded the black one up. The black one was it's an 87. It was a 2-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, 5-speed. And so we already thought I was going to yank everything out of it anyways. I was just wanting it as the body. And I think it ended up being like, I don't know, maybe close to a month before we went and got the other one because the guy started raising hell about it being in his yard. So we got it back to the house and took a pressure wash to it first thing, I would say the next day, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. And kind of assess what we was dealing with. And I think the worst thing that we run into was it had a little rust around the windshield and the water come running in and the floorboards was kind of rotted out on it. But other than that, it was just a super solid platform. some things happen here and there between like Christmas and all that, and financial, this, that, and other. And so we finally started getting to tear it apart, and we ended up getting another shop where I work, where we was doing Jonathan's LS swap, and we ended up just dragging it over there, so we had a little bit more room to mess with.
We did do the firewall, the whole
the firewall was in the garage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because it's right-hand drive, so it's
And for anybody,
it's right-hand drive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it is now.
It is now. And for anybody who would think about going that route, pick something else.
I feel like that's whenever you have a weird project or a swap or something that you do, you get through it yourself, and then you tell somebody else who's thinking about doing it, just don't do it. It's not worth it, right?
Yeah, if we had to do it again, I wouldn't do it.
And we talked about doing, like, because we were doing the YouTube thing already, and I was like, let's just kind of document this as like, we'll just do like updates throughout this, because I just don't feel like there's enough people out there who want to take a firewall out of a right-hand drive Cherokee and put it in a Comanche to sit down and watch us do this from start to finish.
But you'd be surprised though, because that's what like actual mechanics, like people who understand mechanical know-how, they don't give a fuck about doing a wheel change. They don't give a fuck about doing a suspension lift. They don't give a fuck about any of that. They want to see that cool shit.
Yeah.
They want to see the limitations of what somebody else somebody else who's actually knows what the fuck, knows what they're doing, because I'm sure you guys haven't done it before, so you don't know exactly what they're doing. But like,
no, that's not the fun. Right?
Exactly. Though, but like, you'd be surprised that would interest me. Is like being like, damn, they just fucking just cut this shit out, put it back together. Like that looks good. It works. Holy shit! Like I don't know. At least for me, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
sorry.
We did get some of it on film, throughout the process, and
yeah, there might be 10-minute snips that we.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a how-to, but just like we'd set up the camera and roll some time lapse, so you could just see us working through the process and see.
Yeah, and it's not trying to push like, hey, you need to go watch it. It's small. The videos are small enough where it's interesting to see, what we done and how we done it, because we've even got videos of the XJ that rolled over on its top, us completely chopping it down to nothing. I mean, it looked like a sled after we was done with it, and it was kind of heartbreaking, really, because I had so much time, in that thing, and then just taking a sawzall to it and cutting it up to nothing.
I do have to say that I was incredibly surprised to see that. Now, I might just be a dumbass from fucking New England and all that, but I was expecting to see the sawzall come out, level that thing, and then dove nose, dovetail, full blown buggy.
That's what everybody wanted to see, but
this is a cool fucking project, though.
I think everybody commented, build a buggy, build a buggy, build a buggy. Like,
yeah, it was 6 one way, half dozen other. There was all kinds of people like, I don't understand why you're doing this. This is stupid. And it was at the end of the day, it's, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to just buggy that thing. And yeah, I mean, it was kind of stupid to convert this Comanche into a right-hand drive, but then again, it's like
fucking cool.
That's kind of your thing.
So you don't see it. Curtis is a good example. He has a dove nose Cherokee. Woo. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, his rig's nice, but like so many people already do it.
He's gonna fuck you so hard in the mouth.
Either way, he was just an example, okay? He's just an example. What I'm trying to get at, then you also have Sean, then you also have Miguel, you also have Jamie.
Yeah,
you also have
Cherokees are a dime a dozen.
Correct. So, but I've never seen a right-hand drive Manchi. Barely. I don't think I've ever wheeled with a Manchi before. So that's pretty fucking cool.
It's hard to find something that hasn't been done to death. Like,
there's one other guy that has done this, and he didn't do the full like we did.
Dom
he cut the
Stacks did it.
What's that?
Dom Stacks also did it.
What does he call his?
Fuck, I don't remember. I know he was doing like an LS in it, and
yeah, this guy's from up around the Illinois area.
Yeah, Michigan,
yeah, and he calls it Project Wrong Side.
Yep, that's him.
That's a cool name. I dig
that.
It
was pretty cool. Well, we was already into doing mine whenever, I don't know why the only one that I ever found was somebody had done one over in New England, but they done it as just a factory swap and nothing to the sense of, 1 tons, this, that, and other. And then all of a sudden it was just popped up in my newsfeed one day. And so I got to looking at it and, I think he's still running factory axles, but there was so much that I was going to try to learn off that and was trying to talk back and forth with him. And, which I'm not saying nothing bad about him, but somebody had tagged him in a post that I'd put about something, and the only thing he wrote on there was, "Well, I'm glad I did it first." And that's the only thing he said. And I was like, that's kind of arrogant. But so I left it. I was going to ask him a bunch of questions. I was like, you know what? I figured it out myself.
Yep.
I'm going to try and say this in the most polite manner possible, but that's fitting.
I mean, like I said, that's just the way I felt. But not like, hey man, that's cool. Let's what have you doing to yours? And then instead of just shooting it. Then somebody said that they had a friend of theirs that was doing one too. I haven't found anything on it yet. I
gotta say, I think the coolest off-road build I have ever seen in my entire time of looking at stuff. I followed it for years on Pirate. A dude built the Ibex series chassis.
Yeah.
Okay, so he bought a Comanche that had been wrecked. He cut the cab off, put it on an Ibex with the full Ibex suspension and Spider 9s with an LS. So, I dig what you guys are doing because it kind of gives me that kind of, Mad Max, taking a Comanche as far as you can, legitimately go with it.
Do Comanches still have unibodies?
Yeah. They're unibody until their frame in the rear.
Yeah, it's an abomination of both.
It's like, I wouldn't even call it a frame. It's
just weird.
From the back of it forward, or from the back of the cab forward is an XJ. There's nothing different.
Yep.
Okay, it's kind of worked out.
So you save money on stiffeners, is what you're saying. You don't have to
you get screwed because it's like
there's only one company that makes a stiffener for it, and basically it's a Cherokee unibody, like he just said, that's boxed off. So it needs stiffening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird too. The unibody on these are a lot wider, so to say, and so nothing exactly works exactly right. Yeah. So I mean, you just still kind of get under there,
but I think there is one company. Chase had stiffeners. There's one company that makes pre-made fitted stiffeners.
I meant to ask you guys about that. I saw it on your guys' story. The dude with the red Manchi, isn't he sponsored by Katai or whatever, and he's got that set up for an Ultra 4 car?
You're talking about his name is Justin Wright. His Instagram tag is 89 Manchi.
I think that's him. I followed him on Pirate.
Yeah.
He did have a hookup at Canati Tire. They were sponsoring him.
What the fuck is a Canati Tire?
It's just an off-brand mud tire.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think he's running a 39?
Yeah, 39.5.
At least in general, you hearing that? Some random ass tire company has 39s, but you only got 37s. Fuck you, General Tire. Jesus Christ.
Oh, someone's a little salty that
I am.
Got denied.
I haven't even. It has not been done yet. Don't worry, we still got time.
It's not been confirmed or denied.
Exactly. But go ahead. Sorry. So he was running a 39. You saying?
Yeah, he had a hookup. He had a sponsorship through them, and he told us just recently that the guy he was dealing with, that was kind of a sales rep for them, left, so he kind of lost his hookup on the tires. But he's still running the decals and stuff on the door. But no, I don't think he ever did any kind of racing or Ultra 4 or anything like that, as far as we know. It's still leaf sprung in the rear, coil sprung in the front.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've done a walk-around video on it.
He converted it from a manual to an automatic.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's just I was going to say that's cool, if you guys are cool with him, we should definitely talk, but that was an arrow to the heart right there, so never mind on that shit.
That dude is a fucking hoot to talk to. He is funny as hell.
Yeah,
we'll
man.
have to spread some wings then and see who we can talk to then.
Yeah, tell him the Trail Trash guy said that it was okay for y'all to talk to him. We'll give him permission.
So for the Comanche, like, what was the hardest thing to get past? Like, I'm guessing you guys started this and just now you're kind of balls deep into it. Like, what was the worst thing that you guys had to deal with? Like, when you first said, I would not tell somebody to do this, what, like, there has to be something sticking in your brain that you were like, this was not worth the fucking time.
It started to in the firewall.
The firewall? Well, tell us a little bit about it. What was so bad about it?
Was it like fitment? Was it getting it all in the right spot, or was it just
that entire thing is spot welded together?
Yes,
that entire thing. So if you took the time, you could take a spot weld drill bit and completely disassemble every single panel on a Cherokee or a Comanche.
Yes,
like everything can be drilled out and taken apart, which I'm sure is what they would do if you were in a wreck and it went to a body shop.
Yeah.
Except
totally.
Well,
yeah.
Now, yes. So, except for the floorboard, because the floorboard pretty much just rolls all the way up to the bottom of the cow.
And
I know where this is going. Yeah.
So we swapped it from a 97 XJ to an 87 Comanche. So as we was looking at it, we could already tell that the tunnel and the firewall at the bottom was not going to be exact. We were just going to swap the two sides, just like the Project Rome side did, but we got to noticing that one side of the firewall protrudes further than the other side, and when a right-hand drive is completely backwards. Mm-hmm. So in order to do it half-assed decent, we were going to have to completely disassemble the firewall. And it's in 3 different layers. Once you spot weld the cow, cut the spot welds out of it, take it off. Underneath the cow where the windshield wipers sit, you spot weld it out. It comes off the top of the firewall. Then you're left with just the firewall itself. And they run down the sides on the inside of the fender wells. But there is where it conjoins at the bottom of the firewall at the tunnel, but it was going to be nowhere near close for what we was going to, to have for the 97 XJ. So I stood back with, was it a grinder or sawzall?
I think we cut it with a grinder.
I stood back and cut the 97 longer, and then we tried our best to measure how far we needed to cut down on the firewall, knowing that if we got it wrong, we had a little bit of overlap for the other one, but if we got it wrong again, then we were going to be totally fucked. What ended up happening was I stood back and I was like, fuck it, we couldn't draw a line. I said, look, this looks good, and we cut it. When that happened, we accidentally cut it fucking perfect. And
nice.
They almost sit. There was a couple of spots here and there that I had to add a couple pieces of metal that you really can't see. But other than that, I mean, I ended up buttoning them both together and just slowly welded it all the way across. And then went back through and welded all the spot welds and everything in. It was a tedious ass nightmare.
So, on the last episode that you were on, you said that you were the one that liked to race through everything, but that doesn't sound like you're racing through everything. Sounds like you were doing
stuff. Like,
that's because I'm here to rein him in. And hey, let's do this the right way.
Yeah, and everything that I start, 99% of the time I start it the right way. About 15, 20 minutes into it is when I like, you know what, fuck this. And now I start.
Because I think about halfway through, he was like, you know what, I don't even need a firewall. I don't even need that. We'll just add some bars, I'll put the pellets on it.
I mean, you're not wrong. Jesus.
The biggest thing we wanted to do was when you pop the hood, it'd be really hard to tell that this thing had been swapped. And also, the whole dash and everything is fitment right. I can run heat in this thing like it was factory. I mean, I could even hook up AC if I wanted to, if it was factory. Probably not going to, but so everything in this thing is about like it would come factory.
Wow.
Which I give you guys a lot of props for. Sorry.
Yeah, and I respect that level of commitment of just being like, hey, I bought this Comanche. It's time to cut this thing the fuck up and almost make it useless if we don't finish this.
Yeah, like, that was one of the things we was worried about too. Is like, if we get 3/4 of the way through this and figure out that this can't be done that way, and we just fuck the whole Comanche up.
It's motivation to just figure it out, right?
Yeah.
During the process of doing the firewall, we had completely gutted the interior.
Yeah.
I mean, every stitch of the interior was out.
And we kicked the windshield.
The front fenders were out of it. It had no windshield in it. It had no engine in it, no front axle, no transmission. And it's sitting in his garage. And at one point, I stepped back and looked at it, and I was like, "This is the most apart I've ever had a vehicle."
Yeah.
In my
Wow. Jeez.
What was it that you said? You said and the thing that I said that swapping the axles in it was going to be the hard part.
Yeah.
And that was actually the easier part.
Yeah.
You know, that's a funny thing because, like, I remember the first time I looked at doing any kind of axle swap, and it was like this huge ordeal. And then after you do one, the next one's a little bit easier, and it's not perfect. And Graham gives me shit about that all the time. Then you do it again, and that, like, just like, okay, this is just getting progressively easier.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that too, because we had a conversation over the weekend with this other guy, and he was 100% right. If I was to do it over again, I wouldn't even swap one of these 60s, 10.5, 14 bolt, whatever you want to swap into, to run factory suspension. It would be cheaper or just as much to just go ahead and set it up for coils. It's
For the front or the rear? Because I feel like
the rear, no cost to.
Yeah, the Comanche.
Cody, you don't understand. You haven't done it yet.
Okay, but I mean, it makes sense though if you think about it. You don't have to bother. Like if you're buying a kit, yeah, I can imagine it's super simple. But leaf springs just
even if you don't
go in. How?
Even if you don't
have to then. Okay, but leaf springs are $300. Or if you're fucking Colin, and you spend $1,000 on your fancy ass leaf springs, $1,000. You put them.
I mean, I spent $600 on mine.
The purchase are $30.
I mean,
like remember, if you're building it, yeah, it's gonna run you probably $80.
The ride you're getting from a $1,000 leaf spring setup, let's say, is not going to be anywhere near as good as a 4-link setup that you could probably do for
I'm about
a little bit more, only
into mine,
including cost of coilovers.
But that's assuming that you even swap the leaf springs when you do the swap, because I did not do that. I'm still running the same leaf springs I had when I had the 8 1/4 under my.
And I can shed a little bit of light on that too. When I first done this, when I went to swap the 1 tons in, I bought a $2,200 long arm kit, and I bought the Artec 1 ton swap kit for a TJ because they didn't make anything. You know, it's the same, almost the same thing. Yeah. And at the time, the Artec kit was like $800. I was almost $3,000 into just the suspension and the 1 ton swap when I could have took that $3,000 and bought. I mean, I bought these coils that I have under it now, all 4 of them for $1,000, and for all the tubement and everything to make the 4-link work in the back and everything. I mean, I could have saved around $1,000 if I'd have just went with coils. It's something we have does there.
Understandable. I just don't think for the rear that would make sense. I don't see that adding up.
Depends.
For the front, absolutely. Yeah, you could just do hoops in the front, and then you just make a perch, and you're good to go. But
I think
that front Artec truss is fairly expensive. I was surprised.
I paid like $380 for mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's come down now. It's when I done this years ago, this shit was pretty expensive.
I think it's like $550 now, and only because at least on the 05, it's like $550.
I got the one with. Well, it probably went up because of steel prices. I bought I guess probably at like one of the better times for it, but I also only got the one where it comes with the weld-on bracket, so I didn't get
if you get the full TJ kit, it costs a bunch more.
Yeah, that's a lot more.
Yeah,
I didn't
do that. But Artec was the only ones that was even building these things. Barnes didn't do it. Nobody done it. So they pretty much had the market cornered when it come to, hey, if you want an easy swap on a 1 ton, and it was still, I mean, I hate to fucking trash talk it, but it was still a shitty fucking kit. I fucking hated mine.
I don't hate mine, but it definitely could have been better, and there's sections of it where I think Barnes has a better approach.
Oh, I was upset when we put the Barnes underneath Jonathan's. I was fucking pissed. We didn't spend
no way to make a good one is to do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you bring up a really good point, though. If I were to do it again, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't live where I used to live, so that's got a huge effect on what I would do. But it would just be like a fucking low-profile truss with the mounts and everything, standard track bar mount, and one of them straight to full hydro. Like there would be none of the circle that I've made.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I like
learned
some pieces.
Exactly. And then me and Richie get to deal with, like, hear all your guys' bullshit. Just go, oh, man, all right, so just do this, do this, do this.
That's
We're good to
exactly
go.
what I was going to try saying earlier, was that's why you convince your buddy to do all the shit first.
Yeah.
That was
See where he wasted all his money.
And the proof is in the pudding, because my Jeep would not be where it's at without Luke, and it wouldn't be as good of what it is unless Luke did all his trials and tribulations prior to helping me and mostly building my Jeep. So,
yeah. Well,
thanks.
I say the same thing about my Jeep. I went straight to the pretty much the exact setup that Luke had after his first 3 setups. And
on my 98, not on the 97. He copied an older Jeep.
On the 98.
Nice.
Like back in high school, I'm right at high school level.
So does that mean that Graham followed Ducky? Because that doesn't
No,
sound good.
no. I'd be on mid arms. No, I sort of followed. Yeah, what I read and then Colin. I got more influence from Colin.
Yeah.
Colin, but if he decided to do I can respect that, because
sort of. I was
see where
for a while before I figured things out and got comfortable fabricating. I was still sort of in the bolt-on realm. I did the first semi non-bolt-on thing I did was that Clayton long arm, which turned out to be a great kit. It just doesn't transfer to the 1-ton axle very well, at least not to the Ducky 1-ton axle. I've seen people use that entire kit on 1-ton axles, and I don't know how they do it, because the links sit way too far inboard for the on the inside on the frame end.
So speaking of which, then that's good to know for me. Am I expected?
Oh, you're probably gonna.
So
your output's gonna look like mine.
Here's something else that happened that's really helpful for that shit. And I'm sorry, I know that this should be more about the Manchi. We'll get back to that in a second.
But they're fine.
What they did is Barnes came out with a set of joints where they've got a 10-degree offset in them. So you run a 10-degree offset at each end, and that will help to offset your issues with getting it wider.
But you could also just run a Heim joint on both sides.
Yeah, we done that.
I'm too bougie for that. I do Johnny joints so they don't wear out as fast.
The only thing is even on mine with the 30,
you won't understand.
Even on mine with the 30, though, I'm already stretched out past where my my mounting point is. I'm already chafing almost. I mean, it only happens every once in a while, and I think it was when my old track bar was shot balls, and it was able to rotate the axle more. But it is touching the edge of the mount. So
yeah, and that's why I was saying those 10-degree offsets, because that gives you a little bit of a kick on that arm on both sides. So you put a 10-degree at the axle side facing towards the transfer case, and you put the other one facing towards the axle, and you get a bunch of extra fucking offset out of it.
Okay, I mean, I can definitely see that making sense.
But I don't know. I think the Artec, the lower mounts for the links are relatively straight, but on the Barnes truss, they kind of kick them towards the
center
of the Jeep anyway to help with that.
They
because I went
that on the Artec as well. I've got that. Mine are kicked in.
Because I went straight from I built a 3-link when I had my 30 in the front still, and I reused every bit of the 3-link stuff that I had built, and it bolted right up to that Barnes truss kit.
Good to know, actually.
I was looking at the new Artec just to see what it would look like, and they have revamped it a lot from my first gen. And it was it come in a box, and I swear when I pulled the instructions out of it, it's pretty much said, figure it the fuck out. And that was
yeah, I got the revamp kit, and the revamp kit was weld this, then weld this next, weld this, install into Jeep. After you've bolted in your lower control arms, you are on your own. Figure the rest out, bud.
Yeah, it'll definitely be an adventure, and I am grateful for having these guys though as kind of the spearhead of the situation because they do a really good job of explaining why you shouldn't do X, Y, Z, and why you should do W. Like they do a pretty damn good job at it, which is pretty dope. But I mean, it's only as good if you listen though, because like we still have a buddy Ryan who's on leaf spring, shitty tires, and a carburetor. So like you can't teach everybody, you know.
Yeah, but Ryan fucks on that setup though.
Oh, he does
until he doesn't, until it breaks.
Yeah, until he does.
Trail in.
But
Sorry, Ryan.
No, he loves it, dude. He loves when I trash talk him because when he outwheels me, he just gives me this look. Doesn't have to say shit, just gives me this look, and I'm just like, "Fuck you!" Like I know exactly what you're thinking. Or like when he's fucking up, I just look over. Like it's the same thing, but it's just a fun, like I don't know, like friendly
if you keep
thing.
going like this, he's gonna fucking raid the podcast again. You know how that went last time.
I'm glad to have him on the podcast. He has a lot of ammo now to talk shit about me with, so it'll
We
be a
should
good time.
definitely schedule another one of them because he's funny as fuck. So, I suppose that we should probably bring it back to the guest that we have on now. So I gotta ask. I'm trying to like
man on podcast. He's always gotta ask.
Yeah, I'm trying to like put this together in my mind. Are you guys plating the inside of the rails? Like, how far are you going to make this thing last?
Are you, as in
the man?
No, it's got stiffeners on the outside, no mid stiffeners, no rear stiffeners.
Oh, good lord! I'm gonna have to come down there and start fucking boogering shit on there.
Just give him a little bit of the devil's lettuce, and he makes some pretty good welds.
I can't even do that because I have a fucking other job interview. I have.
You can't smoke the giggly grass? Are you kidding me?
No,
Get this guy out of here.
I cannot be swing dancing anymore. Fucking. I haven't swing danced in fucking 6.5 months now. I'm gonna pick up a welder and look like Helen Keller's Customs.
When I do it, I've shit talked everybody around me. It becomes a good time.
Excellent.
So you're telling me you moved to Tennessee, you got a mullet now, you don't dabble in the doodles, you fucking you don't wheel, and all you do is shoot guns. We lost you. Get him out of here. We lost him. I mean, what the fuck?
Come on down here with us.
I came down to God's country and I have seen the light.
Bible Belt.
In case he can sit around and bench wheel instead of bench racing.
Yeah,
sit around and talk about how good.
I mean, in my defense, I'm going next week or not even next week. I'm literally leaving in 3 days to go and pick my Jeep up.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Grab me an axle while you're up there, please.
You think Jonathan has been punishing me here lately on making me do the filming and running up and down the hills as a punishment, as in, hey, you could be out here wheeling if you would hurry up and get your fucking shit together.
I do have to say,
Good
though,
motivation.
That is pretty good motivation.
He's trying to work the pounds off of me. I don't know.
I'm not going to try and jerk you guys off too hard, but the YouTube videos are kind of funny, and I like the length on them because they're, like, long enough that it's entertaining, but it's like a nice skirt. They're also short enough that, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's all.
But definitely,
that's all the editing dude there. It's
You hit the 11 minutes, hit your monetization, and get the fuck out. I respect
21. They go for 21.
Okay, I dig that, actually. I dig that.
Double the effort required, but just that.
yeah, I try to keep it at
I actually prefer my YouTube videos around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a weird in between. Like, there's certain things, like I watch video game stuff on YouTube. I watch wheeling stuff. I watch, I'll watch some dude in Indonesia build a mud hut. I don't fucking know. Like sometimes I just get on crazy tangents.
I feel like if they're too short, then people have to go find another video. So
That's my exact issue. 20 minutes, that is enough time for me to go pick up lunch at work, get back to the parking lot, fire up the video. I watch the whole video, go inside back to work.
There you go.
I watch it while I'm working.
The one thing that I hate is when people stretch stuff like, I don't have a good example, but when people stretch things for no fucking reason. When they do a 10-part series on something that could have been done on like 4 good videos, you know? They do it literally in the 10 minutes, you know, they're just coming in to cash grab it because they're doing something cool. And I get it, yeah, if you spend a lot of money on it, I kind of understand it. But, and then, I don't know, it bothers me, like, okay, I have to wait a day to see, you're doing this. Like, so 20 minutes, I think, is that perfect time. And it's nice because that keeps engagement or watch times pretty good. And then it also is like, let's say you have a 40-minute time that you're trying to kill, you can go watch another one. That's pretty dope. That's the one thing that I think that podcasts kind of lack is there's no short form. I think it's considered compared to
like we could do clips of shit, but for us to go in there and grab clips, it's just like,
yeah, we're not making money, so it's not worth the extra time and effort for something like that, you know?
Yeah, we do this because like you guys are fun to talk with, and these fuckheads are fun to talk with, not because they're yeah.
And people like it too, which is the weirdest thing.
The abuse.
Oh God. He loves me. That's why she beats me. But that's the one thing that like I the only times I ever listen to podcasts though is when I'm working. Like when I'm doing something that takes the 2 hours, the hour long to listen to it, and it helps my ADD as well. Like I'm able to focus on what I'm doing because my like whatever the frontal lobe or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I ain't no fucking Scientologist or whatever the fuck it's called.
Wheeling podcast, not a brain podcast.
But like it keeps
Tom Cruise.
What the fuck did I say? What did I say? Something about Tom Cruise?
You got a brain bruise?
You said Scientology, which is
I said Rocket Appliances or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
Like, we're hopeless. Jesus.
You know, one time.
Oh yeah, Scientology is the oh my god, I'm an idiot. Anyway, fuck it.
What's next? You're gonna be flying F-14s and getting pegged by Caitlin?
Yeah, F-14s. That'll be an interesting time. Wait, at the same time?
At the same time, they've got a dual-person cockpit, so you know we're gonna be getting real busy in that cockpit.
That's what I think it sounds like.
Jesus Christ!
And yet another episode that will not make it to YouTube.
No, we haven't said anything bad yet.
I don't know. We've been on
I haven't
a roll.
said cunt yet, so I mean.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. So, sorry to distract even further, but like, Crazy K's went up, right? The Mullet After Show, instantly off of YouTube, caught another fucking notification from YouTube.
Oh, man, it's told me that is a shit show.
That one was a goddamn shit show.
Yeah, that one was bad. Yeah,
I'm sorry, which one?
The after show after.
Oh
Crazy
yeah.
I called it the Mullet Cast because like we were all business up front with Crazy K's, and then afterwards we're roasting people and being dickheads.
Every time you went to say shit, he's like, I'm sorry,
dude. So I was the worst. I'm surprised. Usually I'm pretty good at just knowing when to not be a retard, but for some reason I don't think I could say that. Fuck it, whatever.
We're already in the fucking shit show, so but like usually I'm pretty good at it, but that episode I don't know why. I think I just come on here and I'm in a different realm where I'm just like, fuck it all, who cares, say whatever the fuck I want. But for some reason I just couldn't figure it out. I just kept saying like fuck or shit, and then I'd like catch myself and be like it's a weird awkward stutter thing.
It was you catching yourself almost like drew more attention to it a lot of the time.
That was like the meme of that podcast.
Well, it's like with me at work, long story short, they had me telling stories about past injuries because I'm an idiot. Yeah, and one of my coworkers today was like, Richie, in your 2-minute story, you said fucking 28 times.
God.
Oh, and so
we learned to turn it off.
Yeah, but we're like New Englanders, so you don't shut it off. It's just like part of the. If you're like blue collar remotely in New England, you swear.
It's a part of our dialect up here.
Same way down here. We just don't want YouTube throwing our shit off there.
Oh my god. Oh, that was the other thing. Both Roush episodes, even the one with Mark, where we were like not super polite, but we had Mark on, and Mark is not known for his ability to
but
swear.
there was a lot of talk about pegging on that one.
Yes, there was.
Well, pegging's not even a bad word though. Like in reality, you almost have to Urban Dictionary it to learn what it is, unless you're an adult, you know. So why wouldn't a kid be? No, actually, maybe not. Yeah, no kids.
Full circle of that.
Jesus. Wait.
Sorry, this was a total derailment from the Manchi, but like. Also, I gotta say, it's super awesome to have you guys back on because you guys are fun as shit to talk with about this. And
that's like the third time you said that. I'm
I know,
so glad
but,
you
like-
still think that.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you.
Richie's
sorry.
on one today, dude. Gets the computer, he starts
Is that
fucking
computer?
jamming.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'll get my fucking
Well, see,
revenge on
the
Friday.
big difference is I don't have to hold my stupid phone. I
True.
can sit back relaxed. I'm
You do
comfortable,
just-
man.
Yeah, you're more
He's
talkative than you've
focus on
been in
the
the last
conversation.
fucking 35 episodes, so that's fucking
I know.
51.
I like it. Keep the momentum,
Well,
Richie.
good. No,
Keep
he was
it
more
going.
talkative in the first, 15, and then he discovered SnowRunner.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did
No,
what?
I haven't played SnowRunner in
All right,
fucking forever.
joke. Literally,
Yeah,
you...
alright. Dude,
Joke.
R slash
Oh,
wood.
yeah, joke's on you. I was way below that joke.
Anyways,
I got 15 minutes, so let's hear a little more about this Manchi, and then I gotta
oh
go.
my
and build
god,
Luke's
what do you
chip
gotta
box.
go do things?
I have to put a floor in the thing.
Fuck that floor. Dude, Curtis
It's
doesn't have a
looking
floor. Why
good
does
so
Luke need
far.
it?
Curtis literally messaged me this morning. He was like, "So you want to do mine next?" I said, "No, I'm not doing your floor. Get out of here."
Before Harlan,
Both
he
you and
sends it
Luke
out.
and me, none of us know how to build tube around so you can set a floor up on top of it. It's all like Luke, your wheel wells have coming out. They look great, by the way, but
They do.
it's
They
been
do.
a nightmare to set that up. It's like, how the hell are we gonna how do you get the tubes and the sheet metal to connect and look half decent? It's been a pain in the ass.
So the way that you can is you can go check out FM Jeeping's YouTube channel, and he has a really nice video about how to shape metal in a really nice way. That's super easy. It's not even my YouTube channel. I just plugged it like it was a fucking ad. Yo, hey Mark, I want $10 for that one, asshole.
I don't know. Given what he's...
What's up?
Can we skip the ad yet or no?
Yeah.
No, you don't got YouTube Red. You gotta wait a few more seconds.
Oh, screw that. Ad blockers are Chad.
Dude, no. YouTube Red is $5 a month. Okay, but fuck, now I really am feeling like an ad right now. I'm gonna
Yeah,
shut
you're a
up.
goddamn
My
fucking
bad.
ad.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Holy
Let the fucking people that know what they're talking about
Comanche.
get over here.
Oh god. So you guys said, wait, hold on. I'm an idiot. Give me 1 second. Go back to what you were saying, Graham. I apologize. You only got about 13 more minutes here. We're on the clock. I have a timer actually going for you. We're at 11 minutes 22 seconds now. You better start talking. Well, tell us about his Jeep. Because you are gonna have to go here soon, so you might as well give us a little bit of information.
All
about
right,
your
I'll
Jeep.
give you the
You have
quick
been doing
rundown.
You've been doing an amazing job, and I'm sorry for the trail trash guys, but this is pretty cool. So give us a little bit.
It's just sheet metal work. It's round 2 of what I did on my Jeep. If me and Jacob had more time than till Friday to have it done, basically, not even Thursday, because I have Sean's wedding on Friday that I have to go to. So literally, I have tonight.
If you need it, you can
tomorrow.
have Saturday too.
Yeah, and we can work on it some Saturday. But I'm trying to leave Saturday for the little bullshit and potentially bump stops, because we're probably not going to have time to throw those in until Saturday, and a bunch of other bullshit. But the floor work is going to be that's the brain work. Everything else is, where does the bump stop go? Okay, lift it up and down. Where does it need to stop? We weld it on. The floor has been... the tube work was done quick. I knew that was going to be quick because it was only those back pieces. I don't see any other space for tube really on it currently. I mean, if you really wanted to chop it up, you could put more in, but it's good as it sits. And then it was just that first day. I've sort of been trying to document it on the story because some people like it. Is just rebuilding, because if you saw Luke's Jeep before we started putting metal back on it, it was like there's nothing left. It's literally at the outer fenders, the frame rail with a little chunk of floor on it where he had his fuel cell, and then just the rest of it is open, minus the sides, the frame rails, the middle's all cut out. So there's starting with nothing. We built the side pieces and that panel that went up the tube because we were really restructuring it based on the outside, and things aren't quite straight and all. You'd never notice in a picture, or you're looking one side or the other, you're never going to notice that it's not quite, that things aren't all lined up.
Yeah, well, I mean, like
Because-
I've said since day one, that Jeep is tweaked. It doesn't even now that you're working on it. Can
We
you
have to
see what
measure
I'm
and do
talking
each
about?
side individually, because otherwise it doesn't look right.
Yeah, but you can see what I'm talking about that whole unibody is tweaked at 3 degrees from the
Yep.
driver corner to the passenger tail.
Yeah, it's been a little funky. It's definitely more crooked than mine was. I'll say that. But I think the hard part's mostly done. We have that wheel well is. We're gonna see how much sheet metal we have left over. We're running kind of low. I only bought one 4x8 sheet. I should have probably bought two, just to have breathing room. But we're gonna get the main floor section done hopefully tonight. We'll see how far we get, and then whatever we have left over will be for patching and filling in those wheel wells more. Because I don't mind it with just the hoop. That's sort of how you had it originally. Was the hoop was cut out?
Yeah.
And I know you want to close that off more. I kind of like it because then you can throw rocks and water bottles straight through to the other side of the Jeep.
I kind of want it a little more closed off. Cause
I know. If we have material, we can do it.
What is the plan, though? Because you have to accommodate room for the coilover. So what's the plan for that center section? Because you have the two fronts where the front of the wheel well connects to the shock hoop, and then the back of the wheel well connects to the shock hoop, and then the center section is open.
Well, just leaving as little space as possible for that coilover to be open, right? We don't want the more space there is that's uncovered, the more mud and shit that gets in there, right?
Yeah,
I've got holes in my floor for my shocks, but they're really small and it doesn't actually hit that.
I will say those coilovers, I don't know if you've lifted the Jeep up yet, but those coilovers move a fuck ton. So if you got to leave like a 6-inch gap in there, I'm not going to fall.
We haven't flexed it out. We got to
check that shit out.
Or can they get there?
It did not really move too far forwards and backwards, though. It mostly rotated side to side. I did notice when me and you were flexing it that day and letting it full droop to full compression, it didn't move forwards and backwards all that much, but definitely side to side had a shit ton of movement.
Also, I will say, those coilovers seem stiff as hell.
I don't know if they're stiff as hell. They got
Because I was jumping on the thing, jumping on it, and it was barely moving. I don't know.
They also
that
might
mean
just
much.
need to be broken in.
Yeah, because coils do need to settle. Yes, really? They absolutely fucking do. They need to settle. Yeah. They have.
Okay, well, the long travel leaf springs we put in the Toyota. Woo! You get that thing going. We easily could test full bump on that thing. We just had somebody stand on the back, jump up and down, and you get it going, and it would fully bottom out on the bump stop. It was awesome.
That's pretty.
You got to think, Graham. They got to settle, and all they have for travel on them is 120 miles or some shit like that on a trailer.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. They seem a little stiff to me. We'll see if that holds up when it goes out wheeling.
Really, if they end up being stiff, I'm also okay with that because I do plan on street driving the fuck out of it. So.
Yeah, but if you don't have the proper weight, then either way, it'll be cool. So you're just planning on just closing it up enough, and what about just making it go around instead of trying to intrude on the coilover, just going on the back side of it, and just
we could. Again, it's all about time and materials. At this point, we're racing the clock more so anything else. We could build a box for the whole thing, but it's about what's important to have built versus what can Luke do in a driveway in a couple months if he wants to. I'd rather get the hard shit that's going to be a pain in the ass for one person to do by themselves done versus me and Jacob.
I've got a set of Bilsteins coming. I don't know if they're going to be here before Harlan, but I'm hoping they will be for the front because I know I'm not going to have the bump stop situation entirely tied up there, but I've got it kind of situated, and these shocks are going to help with that. It's a shitbag solution, but they're $200. So
you can always rob my shocks if you need them, if you need something, because mine are still good and they have 11 inches of travel.
I think that yours are going to be too big. I'm looking at the 12-inch short body Bilsteins.
Give me measurements because we could always rob mine if you need them. If you need shocks,
Graham would be the person to talk to on that. Otherwise, I'm just going to order from my old Amazon cart because I have all that shit there.
Or I can get you some. I can get you some for, I think I paid $11 for mine. So, and they're not. No, they're bad. They're bad, but it'll work.
Yeah, no, I've got the same ones that you have on the front of mine now. They're just shot because they've been mutilated and abused repetitively.
Yeah.
You change your shocks? What?
My shocks up front?
I haven't changed mine in like 3 years.
Yeah.
They're
well,
blown the fuck out. Still rides okay. I'm not super concerned about it.
Mine was bad. I've noticed that, like, even Buckley's just like, this thing doesn't like flop around anymore. I'm like, yeah, it's because my shocks were gone. There was nothing. Like, you could just sit there and go, wait, you're like, it was like an accordion. You know, you're like is that an accordion?
I'm not justifying new shocks. I have the fucking coilovers.
You have shocks. You just need to see if they'll fit.
Yeah, but those aren't going in mine. Those are going in the purple Jeep.
Oh, gotcha.
I need to get Kevin's done. That's next after Luke's and I put my axle back together. I got 2 new treps. Oh, we already talked about that. Yeah. I'm excited.
Wait, we did? Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Sort of did. We sort of did.
Well,
I mentioned them.
Do you want to get the fuck out of here? This is a good time to sign you off. We put a little attention on you.
Yeah. I guess it's probably... I would have loved to hear more about the Comanche. I'll have to actually listen to the episode.
Oh, imagine doing that.
Imagine listening to the content.
Alrighty, get your ass out of here. We'll chat with you later.
Right.
Go have fun working on something.
So it was good talking to you guys. I'll talk
you
to
too,
you
yeah.
later, hopefully.
So you guys went on not a Harlan trip. You guys went to Windrock, I heard, right?
Yeah,
Do
we
we
just Windrock.
Do we want to hop in that, Luke, or are you?
I got a couple more questions about the Comanche before we hop into that. Because
start talking then, mister. Get going.
I gotta ask, which is like at this point the catchphrase. Fucking
you,
what are you doing for a cage? Because I know that you guys probably are gonna be putting one on, and I'm not trying to go and fucking sell my services, but I will be down there with a Rogue Fab air over hydraulic tube bender pretty damn soon.
Funny story about that. We had a guy message us on Instagram and said, "Hey, I've got a DNA Extreme cage for a Comanche that I'm not going to use. I bought it all. That's another." And
That shit happens for Casey all the time, and nobody's ever hit us up with like anything useful for me. But I say,
Well, I will try and fucking help you out with the 50 woes when I go back up to Connecticut, but probably not this time, the next time, because I do have a junkyard up there that I go to. If we just need one axle, they'll throw it on the trailer while I'm there.
what kind of condition are they normally in? There, like
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk
Okay.
about it later. I have an idea for you.
Okay.
We can talk about it after podcast. We'll figure it out. He's coming up here, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. I can part with mine or something, and then wait for my guy to get one and then get hit. Either way, we'll figure it out. Don't sweat it.
Okay.
So what's this whole DNA cage thing? Are you thinking about grabbing it, or are you grabbing it? What's the plan there?
well, I've looked at this cage a lot, and I kind of wanted to go with something on the inside instead of an EXO.
You seem
And
like
so-
you're not a short dude, though. So to me, that like causes a lot of issues because I'm not tall, and my head's like 3 inches from my roof.
At first, when he messaged us, I read the damn post wrong, and I could have swore he said EXO, and I was wrong. But he was in Jacksonville, Florida, which was 6, maybe 7 hours from us. And he said that he wasn't going to get a chance to be able to ship it because he was having to go. He's from Ohio, and his father was getting fairly old, and he wanted to go spend a little time with him before he passed away. So the job that I work, we do things around Florida, and I had set it up to where I was going to go do a couple surveys on a gas station that wasn't too far from there, swing by, pick it up, buy it. He was asking $600 for the cage, and it sells for them for $1,200. So things fell through with work, and I didn't get to go down. So I done told this guy I was going to buy it. Then it was $600. So it was one Saturday morning about 4:00. I jumped in the truck, drove straight down there, met the guy in a Home Depot parking lot, and was a super, super cool guy. He wanted to talk about, his build and everything, and I really wanted to listen. And I told him that too. I said, "Look, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I've got 7 hours back to the house." He's like, "Holy shit, I didn't know you drove that far." But I like doing that, so to say. I mean, I think I spent 15 hours on the road that day, just just me and my thoughts. But anyways, I got it back, opened it up, realized it was for an end cap cage. So we didn't know how it really was going to work. So there was a couple of things that we tweaked on it as we was putting it in, and it's actually, I don't see any problem.
It doesn't take up a ton of room inside, and we're also not putting his seats back on factory seat rails, so we have a lot of play with how far down the seat can go and possibly how far back the seat can go. We're not limited to what the factory seat rails can do.
I've got a couple other odds and end pieces that we're going to put in the cage. Other than that, it's besides tying it into the rock sliders, it's pretty much done. Yeah, I'm not going back out without a cage. It ain't going to happen.
I can't say that I blame you. For me, I think part of my problem was that I put sliders in mine because at some point in time, I'm going to teach Morgan how to drive my damn XJ. Just like shooting, she's going to end up getting bit by the bug eventually. So I have to be able to...
how many times you have to try, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I have to be able to push the seat forward to midget height, and I had to put them in at an angle because I have to have it all the way back sitting up against my B-pillar. And to give you an idea as to where I put the B-pillar in, John, I know you did a cage. My B-pillar mounts behind the pillar on a two-door. I have to have mine kicked back that far because I got kind of like a really weird body shape, so I got like longish legs. And if I don't have it kicked back that far, I can't be comfortable with the steering wheel. And yeah,
it's an awkward seating position because like I can hop in Curtis's, Graham's, Collins and feel perfectly comfortable. Luke's is a very interesting seating position. It does feel very odd. And I don't know how to explain it because I don't think you're doing the best job of explaining it, but I wouldn't know how to do it better. But it's weird. It definitely is weird.
Yeah, well, like it's really
He's
far
got
back.
long legs, short torso.
Yeah. So in order to accommodate that, I had to kick it really far back to be comfortable with the factory steering wheel. And I had to lower the seats down, but even with the seats lowered down and kicked back, I don't have a lot of headroom either. Because I went with the Corbu Baja SS Fat Boys.
And on the factory seat rails?
No, not on the factory seat rails. I actually had I bought a Grand Cherokee seat rails to put into my old buggy. And I ended up cutting those so they're only a ½ inch over the tube mounts that I have going to the floorboards and tied into the cage. And the rockers. So, like, it's as low as I can get it. I don't know. I don't fit into a Cherokee very well. If I ever build a buggy, I'm going to lift the body. Like, if I ever build a Cherokee buggy, I'm going to lift the body up about 3 inches just to get some headroom.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I mean, my B-pillar is probably maybe 3 inches behind the actual B-pillar in the Jeep, and then my harness bar is curved like perfectly around those PRP seats, so I can slide it back. I mean, where I sit, the seat's all the way back as far as it'll go. If it's taller, then you're not driving my Jeep.
Yeah. I'm not talking mine either. There's not a whole lot of people lining up to wanting to drive a right-hand drive. It's weird.
Oh, what the fuck is wrong with people? I would fucking hop on that shit.
Hell yeah, that sounds fucking cool.
Then again,
it is.
Oh, sorry.
That's the reason why I wanted to do it anyways, is because I had that one for so long, and when we wheeled it for a while, and I just couldn't let it go, and so it was kind of like a bittersweet type of deal to really, I guess, take what was left of the beer can XJ and it kind of live on a little bit more. I think there's actually several parts and several different Jeeps around from where we live that I was just, if it was a good part, I was like, here, you want this, you can have it.
Yep.
That's pretty dope.
A lot of that shit has gone on with my stuff. Richie's got... What do you have again? I know you got a shit ton of stuff off of my old Jeep.
Your front
axle.
locker, your tires, suspension.
I'm sure that some of that shit ended up in Cody's Jeep too somehow.
I didn't get nothing.
No.
I was supposed to. There was a conversation that you and I had about me buying the axles, everything, and the tires, but then it was right as Richie was getting his gold Jeep. He had the black one at the time, I believe, or the red one. I forget which one it was. But it was the
black one, and then I parted the black one out in my shop.
Yes.
So that was the stipulation. It was like right as I was getting the 36s, we were just starting to chat, and you had offered them to me, and I was like, all right, let me figure it out. And then that's when we kind of started going in different directions, because then Richie got his Jeep. You were really excited to get him going, so you then gave him most of the stuff or offered it to him or whatnot to make that all happen.
So yeah, sorry if you ended up getting screwed out of that stuff. I didn't mean for that to go down like that.
No,
but...
dude.
Good. I'm happy with how it turned out, because I was able to learn a whole lot more.
Oh, and then you got the axle out of the black Jeep, and we redid that whole axle there at the shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was the turning spot, I guess, for me, was because we were gonna do the welded diff. We did the locker that day, but then we realized I had a Dana 35 trash piece of shit, but it never ended up killing itself, so it worked.
I distinctly remember someone blowing apart multiple yokes at my house.
That was okay. That was my leaf springs fault.
No. That was also your axle's fault, because your U-bolts had worn so far into the tube that they were loose. Get this, guys. You will not.
They were off of an 825. I did not know that there is a tube difference. So just to clarify, I was fresh as hell. Like, I did not know what I was doing. I robbed the lift off of my 96 Cherokee that had a dying motor and put it in this Jeep. And then I didn't know that I took the U-bolts off, so I used U-bolts that were from an 825, tightened the shit out of them, and it snapped the centering pins on the leaves. And I would, it was bad. It was fucking bad. It was all bad.
So, to give you
first XJ became rear steer.
I remember that. That was horrible. I ended up laying in a fucking creek in January or February, swapping your fucking yoke. And so he snapped.
No. We didn't swap a yoke.
You're right. I ended up having
we replaced the centering pin, new U-bolts, and we had to fucking ratchet strap the axle back straight so we could get it in position and everything. We had my dad running parts and tools from home in Harwinton up to the Mass border.
Yeah, and then I was driving down with my Cherokee to go and get the parts. So get this. You'll appreciate this, because I saw your guys' fucking Chocoloco video with that blown up fucking Dana 60 popping that high steer arm. We're doing all this. I drove my Cherokee back from this, it's a legal trail on the Connecticut, Massachusetts border. I drove it an hour back, and then drove it another hour back at 10 PSI in the fucking tires, and just bombed straight into the fucking woods with a new centering pin, all the tools possibly required to fucking change or fix this shit. And then we ended up having to go back out because we snapped something else, and then we had to get tools to cut the bolts to get the drive shaft off of the axle.
Wow, that sounds like an eventful evening.
Oh, it was an eventful evening.
He had to tow me up a solid ice hill to get out of there, because my Jeep was only front wheel drive.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so when you're young and dumb, you can do some cool shit. And then because it was a Sunday evening, I went to work in that Jeep the next morning, and then it shit the flex plate the day after.
That was the one thing I was lucky. My Cherokee has always been my second vehicle, always. So I've always had my first vehicle, my reliable one, and then the shit box was, sitting on the side. So that's one thing that I got pretty lucky with, that I never had to go wheeling, blow the shit out of it, and then try to get it to work on Monday.
I don't want to do that. I just don't I'd be too stressed out.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
The bitch of it was at the time that happened, the Cherokee was the second vehicle, but my truck was torn apart in my garage at the time.
Gotcha.
So I ended up driving the thing from Harmington to Waterbury, it's about like a half-hour drive on the highway for me. Front wheel drive, 65 miles an hour.
And I did daily mine a lot, like all the way up until it got 40s. Really, all the way up until I put the LS in. I was driving that thing. I mean, at least 3 or 4 days a week most of the time.
I daily mine too.
Yeah, I was driving mine. I works like 45, 50 minutes from home.
Oh shit! Wow.
I just like driving. I was like, well, if I drive it on the street and I have some issue come up, at least it'll happen on the street. It's easier to fix than if I'm in the woods. So I never really had any like horrible trail breaks because every time it broke something, blew a radiator hose or whatever, I was just driving it on the street.
Well, like my whole thing is, for the most part, my gold Cherokee has been my only vehicle until earlier this year when I picked up my Chevy. But I beat the snot out of the thing for a solid like year and a half or so, no problem.
Now we would drive to the trail a lot.
Yeah,
well, that's all we ever did for the first 2 years probably.
Yeah,
until
didn't matter where.
Until we both put our Jeeps on 40s. We drove them everywhere. We drive to Alabama, Tennessee. It didn't matter.
I mean, when my wife's car or something would happen with it, she would drive the Jeep to work. And people stopped in all the time, like, who's driving that? Or you want to sell it? This, that, and the other. And then they were shocked to see that this little 5 foot nothing climbs in have a right hand drive 1 ton swap.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm gonna hate once I make it not street drivable is like right now I have knock sensors in my truck that I just don't feel like doing that are bad, so I'm driving the Jeep around, and I'm gonna hate that once it's on like air shocks or something stupid that I'm not gonna be able to just freely drive it wherever the fuck I want. That's gonna suck. That'll suck.
It's a part of the evolution. On the other hand, I'm gonna throw this out there, like I'm super excited because once I get that Jeep down here, it's going to have that shitbag rear drive shaft thrown in it from probably Graham just hacking together a drive shaft to get it so it can wheel Harlan. But after I get that fixed, I plan on driving that down to Georgia to go and see the guys with Trail Trash. And, it's not that far of a drive, so fuck it, I'll drive it in an hour and 10, whatever.
Oh, that's not bad, dude. What? That's not bad at all.
No, these guys are fucking local compared to you guys, even.
Shit, I used to drive an hour and 10 minutes just to get down to you to go and fix my Jeep. So, like, that ain't bad at all.
Well, come on, we got some more V8 stuff that we need to put back together and the transmission and all that shit.
Hey, so I'm going to be honest, after the end of October, I'll be free. Until the end of October, there ain't no fucking hope in hell because I'm going to Connecticut, then I'm going to Harlan, then I've got that following weekend, we're doing the podcast with Colin for the 1-year anniversary, and I swear to God, I will be driving back to Massachusetts to strangle that motherfucker if he bails on us again. Which, by the way, if you need axles, then I will happily pick them up after I've strangled him and I'm on the lam on the way back. So, no problem.
If you strangle him hard enough, he's got a 14 bolt and a 05 plus 60 just sitting there,
Oh, it is already cleaned up.
Yeah, and he's got a truck. Weird. That's odd. So can we go on to Windrock now? Or are you gonna?
I would say that's good enough. Yeah, we could. I think we covered the Comanche enough. You guys agree?
Yeah.
All right, give us some dirty deets on Windrock. God damn,
fucking New Englanders. Goddamn Maine boys.
No, that's a speech impediment right there, sir.
Okay, Biden.
Okay, all right.
That's offensive. That's offensive. Timestamp. We need that edited out.
No, stop talking about it. We ain't gotta cut it out. Shut up. So how was Windrock? We heard you had a little bit of an adventure there. So what happened?
It was a good time.
Where do we start?
Windrock's always a good time, but more specifically, the people that we went with and the people that we met up there made it even better.
Who'd you go with?
So the people that went up there, I guess because of us, the people that we invited were Dwight, Eddie, Todd, and us.
Did we invite ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I invited you.
Okay, and I invited you.
Oh. So we got up there. We already knew there's the guy who led the extreme ride, his name is also John Moore.
That was a running fucking joke all weekend.
Yeah. And we had met him the year before. So we already knew him, but we didn't know him that well. So we get up there about a little after lunchtime on Friday. And when we pulled in, John Moore's wife was the one getting everybody to sign in because we were there for the Bleeping Jeep fan ride. And she was like, they are waiting on y'all to get here.
You know, if I'm being honest, I gotta interject. I don't know how the fuck you can do them fan rides, because when I show up to wheel, I am there to fuck. I'm not there to fucking sit around.
We know that when we go up there, we're not going to do a lot of riding, but we get to meet a ton of people. Yeah. And he, like, I don't know if you know who MJ Crawlin is from Instagram.
Right, you know what? We're talking about shitbox royalty. We got trail trash. We're bringing up MJ Crawlin. What the fuck, man?
He was there. We met him for the first time there. That's super cool dude. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there before we go any further. We are trying to plan our own ride in the spring. It will most likely be at AOP.
I'll be there. He has dropped this on any kind of social.
Yeah, we hadn't put this on the Instagram or anything yet. But
shit. First release.
Yes. This is new hotness right here.
Off the press.
Woo! So if any of your listeners are listening, they get a little sneak peek into the background. That's sick. Yeah. I like that. So tell us about it. What's going on with it?
So we're planning a ride. We got the pork chop will be there. Dwight will be there. Hopefully that's pork chop. Hopefully his brothers will come and their dad. John Moore said he would be there. Hopefully Jeremy and the Chubby Chaser will be there. I've already talked to him. And we were talking back and forth, kind of throwing around ideas of what we wanted to call it, because we didn't really want to call it a fan ride. That just sounds kind of
arrogant.
Yeah, a little bit. So we got to come up with something more creative than that. And Dwight
came up with the classic trail bash. If you go with the classic trail bash,
I think we're going to call it the Trail Trash Meet and Beat.
I can't argue with it.
So I love it.
I said the first annual beat off.
So Luke,
even
honestly,
better.
If you ever need to name something, bounce ideas off of Luke. I don't know how the fuck this dude comes up with our episode names, but they're fucking phenomenal. I don't know how, just bounce things off of him. He'll give you a really good idea of what you need. Honestly, he will. He's a
Dwight said
the Trail Trash Bash.
I think that was Eddie.
Yeah, which was a pretty good one too.
Yeah, my favorite still has to be Bobcast. That was
incredible. The Bobcast. I don't know why, but it just works so fucking well. The mullet thing, dude. Who fucking thinks of that? That was a perfect. It was all business. We were talking to them all respectfully, and then it was all trashing them. Dude, that's fucking beautiful. Come on, that's incredible. I don't know how you do it, but keep it going. That's sick.
Get white and trashy with it.
Sometimes I just go through our episode list just to read the names again.
It's so good.
This one's gonna have something zesty because you can't have a fucking trail trash and not have it be funny.
We've got questions, or we've been asked about it all the time for the last several years. On hey, if y'all was to ever do a fan ride or something like that, we would come up, and so we want to see where if people would put money where their mouth is, and if we do something like this, will people show up?
Well, we kept telling people we're planning something. Yeah, we're planning something. And then it was we constantly had the big project going on, and it kept us from doing it. And it seems like we haven't had both rigs going in, it's been over a year now, or close to a year. So it just never worked out. But we're shooting for springtime. That should give us enough time to get his Comanche done and everything wrapped up and be
a couple of tested rods. A couple small rods, test things here and there.
Maybe we can get our butts in gear. If it's in spring, that's possible. That's possible. Get our butts in gear to come down.
But that's also 15 hours on the road for you guys.
You guys are going to Harlan. What's the difference?
About 3 hours.
MJ Crawling and them didn't have no problem with it.
Yeah, they said they'd be there. They're from Michigan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure we can
Yeah,
convince Curtis.
yeah, definitely. Let's go cunt punch Curtis and get him involved.
I'm down, dude. I'll just convince JB that he's going. I'll throw my rig on JB's trailer, and I'll just make him drive. Me and Kate will
Throw
fly
Graham
down.
and fucking your rig on there.
There we go. There we go.
We got to plan it around Easter Jeep Safari and Hammers because Jeremy already said he planned on definitely doing Hammers and possibly Easter Jeep Safari. So we got to get those dates figured out. But we're thinking probably like late March or into April.
Yeah, that might end up actually working out pretty perfect because, like, I'm looking at buying a house ideally late January. So if that's the case, I should be able to be financially back on my feet enough to do that. Because I need a fucking shop, like, or at least a place that I can work on my shit and not have it be something where, like, right now I'm living in a small place and I'm renting it, and, like, I have to work off of a trailer if I want to have a flat space to work on anything. So
you could always do like some of those guys. I think it's like the Pacific Northwest. Just go rent a storage unit, use that as your shop.
So I don't know if you up here, but you can't do that. It is illegal as fuck to work in a storage unit.
Really,
dude?
Yeah.
It is bad.
Yeah.
Like if you have a vehicle in there that can run, and like I don't know, there's some weird stipulation. I definitely know in my part of Massachusetts, if it can run, it can't be in there longer than like 90 days unless it has like XYZ done to it and like a certain insurance form for like storage. Because I don't know,
yeah,
it's
in
crazy.
Massachusetts, they're fucking Nazis.
Yeah, it's bad.
I know in Connecticut here, it varies unit storage place to storage place, but like it can't be a certain number of years old, but it also it can also be a certain number of years old, like a classic or whatever. It can't leak any oil. If it leaks oil, you have to get all these kinds of special mats and everything. You have to prove that it doesn't leak oil.
oh my god!
Crazy.
Hey, let me tell you how not strict our laws is. You could have a meth lab in one. Easy. I don't give a fuck.
I'll keep that in mind. If I ever need to start cooking meth, I'll just come down and hang out near you guys. It'll be fine.
Yeah, Cleveland's definitely got that problem going too.
Well, yeah, apparently they make all the fucking meth over there.
Self. Oh well. But yeah, no, like I'm looking at trying to buy a place and actually get like a fucking legit shop going again though, because I want to at least have enough room to park 2 vehicles being worked on actively at the same time in there.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, Morgan and myself have been talking about it, and one of the stipulations on the ring is that I get to build a buggy. So there's that, and then there's the shooting doesn't get touched. Those 2 things are the stipulations, and everything else I'm perfectly okay with, so, you know. But I want to be able to build a buggy. Like, I've got some really cool ideas that I want to try out, and I've also realized that I'm, like, a set of coilovers away from being done with my XJ. If I go further than that with that XJ, the next step is I cut out all the tube work, I cut everything out of it, I lift the rocker panels up 6 fucking inches, and I cut the whole fucking frame out from the firewall and the firewall back, and then start over with just a shell. There's no, like, in-between on this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I want to go any further, it's just cheaper to go with an Ibex. And I know I've talked about this on previous podcasts, but it's just where I'm at with it. Like, I can't kill that XJ, or if I'm going to kill that XJ, it's going to be killed and come back. There's no, like...
Yeah.
So, Windrock.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
That was awesome. It was wet and slick. So we got there Friday, and they were all ready to go because Dwight and Brad, his brothers, they were all there Thursday. So they were like, you know, sitting on pins and needles waiting for us to get there on Saturday so they could go ride. And they wanted to go with us. So
they was like, fuck you guys. We know y'all got to set up, but we're ready to ride.
Yeah. So we got there, unloaded, went straight to Walden's Ridge.
Which was the second time in 2 years, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool trail.
I watched that video. It looked like you guys had a blast.
Yeah, Walden's Ridge is awesome. It's a cool place. So we did that on Friday, and then our buddy Todd twisted the splines on his rear drive shaft in his buggy on part of Walden's Ridge. And so we realized that once we got back to camp, we were trying to figure out exactly what we were going to do, how we were going to fix that, and try to get him through the weekend. So we pulled the drive shaft out.
Square tube drive shafts on buggies. Just accept it and go for it.
Well, we ended up welding this. He had, actually, I think Dwight did it. Dwight welded the splines back, or added an additional weld on top to the yoke end, just to try to help keep it together. And it worked because he drove it the whole rest of the weekend, never had a problem out of it.
So wait, he welded the slip yoke together?
No, the end at the yoke.
It had a really long slip yoke in it. I think what had happened, what me and Todd was talking about, is the place that had built it, they didn't build it off the measurements on what they were given.
Well, that drive shaft came out of his old buggy. They didn't have that built for that buggy.
Oh, I thought he was telling me that they had it built for that one.
No, that drive shaft came out of his old buggy.
No. They had to shorten it up because it's been cut in the middle. And what if they ended up cutting it too short, so it left a lot of the slip out, and then they just ran it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So at the end where the splines meet the yoke end, it actually like broke a couple of the splines.
And it looked like a candy cane.
Yeah, so he welded that back just to try to keep it together as much as possible, and it worked. So Friday night they typically do the night ride, and we just kind of got left behind because we were helping him do that. But we did end up going out catching up to him.
Is night riding a big thing in the South? Because in New England, it's like there's one off-road park, which is F&F, that allows it. Otherwise, it's kind of like a no-no.
Have lights on your shit down here.
Yeah, I don't think
because that's usually there's no video, and when it comes down to night riding, so everybody gets in the woods and we just have a fucking blast.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh God, you guys are gonna end up making me fucking launch a Dana 60 carrier like I launched that 8 1/4.
Like I said, you get around a couple of us that gets our vices on, and we'll talk you into doing some dumb shit.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's been so fucking long since I wheeled. You ain't talking me into shit for a little while. It's gonna be like baby's taking his fucking first steps back into it, because I shit you not, I haven't driven a manual fucking vehicle in a year and a month now. So it's gonna be embarrassing as fuck when I go out there to Harlan.
I've kind of been. Like, it was a while between, me tearing into mine to do the LS and getting it back out, and then everything being new and different. And we had a couple of problems right out of the gate. So it was like really this Windrock trip that I started to feel like, okay, I can beat on this thing again. Like it can take it. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, it was, it's like we done some pretty gnarly shit.
But just because it was wet made it that much worse. And it had rained like the entire week before leading up to last weekend, so it just was soaking wet and it was not going to dry out. So,
and not only that though, it's like there's a lot of people out there like, those are fucking DOT tires. That's fucking insane, because I mean he's crawling spots that the sticky rock bouncers are kind of having problems with. It was that the video don't really
the grabber effect.
It's a decent spotter too. What I think,
giving himself a little credit.
Yeah, we'll give you the pat on the back.
All the shit out of it. I put you where you needed to be.
Yeah. A good spotter is worth a fuck ton, though.
I only had to winch once, and it was going downhill.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not gonna lie. From looking at your YouTube videos, like you'd assume with Trail Trash as the username, that like we'd expect a Smitty built. Nah, you guys are fucking rocking Warren with fucking synthetic rope. What the fuck is going on here?
No, so I want to hear more about having to winch down a hill.
You'd have to dig back far into the archives of the Instagram, but as last year we come down to the bottom and it splits off into two spots. One's called Cadillac Hill and the other one's called Rail Trail. And last year we done Rail Trail.
No, last year we did Cadillac.
Cadillac Hill, sorry. To get down to these trails is a huge, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's in a real fucked up spot. The bypass
only because every time we've done it, it's been soaking wet.
Yeah,
if it was dry, you just go down through there like it's nothing. But because it's soaking wet and it's on like muddy rocks, you have to be super careful.
Straight like fucking peanut butter. It's
okay. So I got a stupid question for you in regards to that because you guys know Southern Wheeling. What's your take on going with the DOT? The Baja Mickeys where they've got like that fucking it almost looks like a TSL on cocaine versus going with the sticky
USD whatever.
No, not the USD. They're the Mickey Thompson Baja.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Versus going with the sticky Baja Pro, which looks like an MTR. Is it better to go with something where it's going to clear more shit, or is it better to go with the sticky where it's got a little bit more tread blocks to it and it's going to clog up a little better or a little worse?
It's hard to say in that sense because like every place that we went to is a little bit different, and what works for one place doesn't really work well for the other.
Brad's brother's got the Mickey. What are they called? The Baja Pro X's, the Mickey Stickies, the ones like
they look like the fucking paddle tires almost.
Yeah, and those things, I mean, in the dirt, those things just dig. It's insane.
Yeah, like with him, that's what really sold me on him. I mean, we've been around these before, but to where it didn't matter where he went, if he can turtle that thing on both diffs. And as long as one tire and one of those lugs can get a little bit of traction, it didn't matter. He would just drag right across it. And then the other hand's like, something for, Jonathan's and the STT Pros. We got to kind of be a little bit weary on where we're sticking the diff at. They get great traction on those sand rocks, but you go to diff one out, then that takes it back to being winched downhill. When we were sliding down, there was just this one fucking rock that stuck up just high enough that had a little bit of a lip that when his front diff hit it, that was it. There was no going past it. We couldn't back up.
I hit it with enough speed that it picked up the front tires. And then I couldn't back up. So I had no option.
That right there just tells me you didn't hit it fast enough.
Well, the problem with that was I was spotting him downhill because this was a spot that you had better have some finesse or you was going to be more than on your top. And when I say on your top, it's like nose to top. And then you're going to bounce off the tree.
What you're telling me is I'm not allowed to go there. Because I got about the same finesse as a baby Sasquatch.
You're about as nimble as a water buffalo.
In fact, every trail that we've done there, I would love to go redo in the dry.
Yeah.
Because we've been able to get up everything in the wet. But I would like to go back when it was dry just to see, because, there are like hard lines that you could take, but pretty much everybody stays off those because it's wet. That even the easy lines are going to be difficult.
Also, I got to ask, how close are you guys to... Wow, I keep fucking saying that. I'm an autistic motherfucker.
Hey, you find something, you like it, you stick to it. It's normal.
It's literally your catchphrase.
Yeah, at this point, I can't fucking stray away from it. But how close are you guys to Choco?
A little over 2 hours.
Yeah, just a little over 2 hours.
All right, so worst case scenario for me, that's 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are an hour away, so even if it's going in the opposite direction, you guys are... Fuck, man, I managed to land perfectly in the fucking center of Wheeling. Shit.
Yeah, you really did. To Windrock, from here to Windrock is the same distance as what the other guys are, like in Smyrna Turner, Tennessee, and it's the same distance from us. But yeah, like from where roundabouts where you're at, yeah, you're in a perfect fucking position up there. Not only that, I mean, hell, far you got Black Falls, Kentucky, just right above you.
Dude, I'm 3 hours from Harlan. Worst case, I'm 3 hours from Choco. I'm an hour and a half from Windrock. I go shooting and fucking, I got a buddy that's got land up near Windrock. So I was just up there, and while I was up there doing some fucking goon shit, there was probably 15 rock bouncers on their way up there. I saw, Tim Cameron's new buggy.
Oh, yeah.
On the fucking highway. That was cool as shit. This is a fucking awesome spot for wheeling. Like,
now,
I'm super ecstatic.
If you end up coming down to meet us and us go wheeling somewhere, we got a couple of downfalls. One, we like to leave early, and two, I don't know if you've tried Cracker Barrel yet.
I know what Cracker Barrel is, and I know that either it's some of the best fucking food you're ever gonna eat, or it's the worst case of the shits you're ever gonna get.
Yeah. Sometimes both.
That's our big thing is like on Fridays when we leave for a trip, we stop at Cracker Barrel, get some breakfast, and if not,
God,
I feel
you
like
guys are my fucking people already.
Yeah. We have Cracker
You
Barrel.
hear that, Cody? He's got our replacements.
Dude, it's fucked, but it's whatever. I mean, yeah, one of them.
Yeah, and Cody's the one that fucking got him here.
What happened?
And Cody's the one that fucking brought him on the fucking podcast. So.
All I said was, "Hey, do you guys want to come hang out with us for an hour?" That's all I said. I didn't do anything special.
we run across a moment.
Yeah, we did. Also,
Sorry,
Pork
this is
Chop
a behind closed doors thing.
Yeah. Pork Chop just hit us up, and he said that he's down to do a podcast, so that's going to be entertaining. You got any shit that I should throw at him?
Yeah, tell him he needs to take some driving lessons.
Yeah, keep that damn thing off its side, and stop blowing the fucking hatches off of it.
All right, well, I'm not going to say either of those things, because it's mildly entertaining as fuck.
You'll get him started, and then it'll be more entertaining, I promise you.
Perfect. I'm excited to chat with him, man. That'll be sweet.
Got it. So poke the chop.
You know, we're going on, what is it, an hour and 40-something minutes here? You guys got anything else you want to talk about with Windrock or that Manchi? What's coming up that we should be looking forward to on YouTube? Shout your social medias.
We got a Windrock video coming out hopefully this Friday.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout for that. You'll get to see Walden's Ridge, Trail 15, and Rail Trail the whole weekend.
Okay.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah, we'll get none of the night stuff because the night footage it just doesn't do well.
Also, I gotta say, I cannot get over the size of Windrock. Like, I keep looking at it, and I'm like...
We've barely even seen...
Yeah, we've not even scraped the surface.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute. It's like, what, 3,900 or 39,000 acres of trail?
Yeah, it's
like 70-something,
74,000 acres.
Holy shit.
I think that they mapped it out, and it was like 39,000 acres of drivable trail.
Yeah, that's normal stuff. Like the Bleeping Jeep guys, right dead center of the park, they have a big piece of property that they lease. And we have yet to have our schedules lined up to where we go up and hang out with them for the weekend. It's coming.
You know, I'm not the biggest Bleeping Jeep fan, but I would definitely be down to go down to that because, you know, fuck it. It's an hour and 10-minute drive. Go beat the shitbox a little bit. And fucking show you guys how to drive manual because apparently that's a lost art down there.
If there was another guy, he's not real big into social media and stuff like that, and it'd be cool to get to talk to him. It's Eddie that drives the Toyota. He can drive that semi like it's a fucking auto.
That guy is fucking sick. I was watching your videos, and he seems like he's fun as fuck. The red Toyota buggy, right? Or like the truggy thing? That thing's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Windrock has a lot of blue trails.
Yes, they do. That was part of the reason why I was suggesting for the 2022 trip that we do Windrock. Because if we end up buying a house, you guys can crash at the house for the first night, and then we can go to Windrock, get a cabin, and party, and then go hit the trails.
Yeah, it's
well,
not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a big place, but there's not a ton of like super hard stuff up there, and it is kind of spaced out. So if you want to go hit like the really iconic, difficult trails, you got to do a lot of driving.
So is it better to hit AOP if you want to party?
If you want to just go out there and like get some serious wheeling done, yeah, I'd say AOP definitely has.
Because I'm not gonna lie, that's our fucking MO. Like, we go out and when we put together a run, we're not putting together a run to go like just kind of do a scenic drive. We're there to get down and fucking
it's
party.
like trail to trail to trail to trail to trail trail.
AOP is way more lenient on what you can do.
You can drink on the trail. They say, we're not babysitters. They ask you not to, but they're not up there watching you, and they'll tell you that.
I mean, that ain't my thing, but I'm definitely down if it's harder and easier to get to the hard shit.
It's if you want to get a little on the wild side and you grenade your shit, it's a better place to be. It's going to suck getting it off the mountain, but you're a hell of a lot closer there to the parking lot than you are if you was at Windrock or
that's starting to sound more like where we should plan our damn trip is to AOP instead of Windrock. What do you think, Cody?
I think both. If they're that close to one another, aren't they 30 minutes away or something like that?
So it's 45 minutes to an hour from the center of Windrock to AOP.
So that's not bad. So plan maybe like a week trip though. It wouldn't be a fucking one day adventure. Like it'd be planned out accordingly. Maybe split up time.
With our group, it's going to be at best 3 days because everyone's got to take vacation and come down.
Yeah, but if you're planning far enough ahead, don't be a dumbass. Plan accordingly.
Yeah, I just know that Colin's going to bitch out and Curtis is going to bitch out because of vacation, so fuck you, Curtis, and fuck you, Colin.
The reason I'm even saying that is because I thought we were planning a 2022-2023 like Johnson Valley or Sand Hollows style trip, so that wouldn't be a 3-day trip,
I know, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get people to do that.
I've mentioned it once, and I've gotten definitely some pretty good turn of people wanting to. So
I can tell you that I will probably not go.
Lane.
I would be more down to do area BFE and Moab. I don't like a lot of people.
So then why the fuck would you go to Moab?
Because if we go to Moab on a week where nothing's going on, you are not going to have to deal with the same level of trail trash that you're going to have to deal with at Johnson Valley on King of the Hammers.
Yeah, I wasn't saying going during King of Hammers.
Okay, then I would be down for that.
We'll figure it out, but yes, I'd be definitely down to do a trip, but I wouldn't... If I'm driving more than 10 hours, I'm spending more than 3 days. That ain't fucking happening. So...
I don't want to hear it, because I'm willing to drive to Roush for fucking 2 days of wheeling with a 10.5 hour trip, so... Zip it.
Well, then where were you?
Where I was waiting for my Jeep to be done, and I was trying to give Graham some time to get it done, but apparently it's going to be banged out in the last 3 days.
Yeah. What I was saying before, though, was I actually pulled up the trail map for Windrock.
You sure
and
you pulled up the right one?
Fucking spread out.
You sure you're looking at? I'm just making sure you're looking at the 4x4 one because there's a mountain biking trail map. There's a
it was
also there's a hiking trail and there's the RZR trails.
It had everything on it.
I also have a gun range.
Jesus, I want to. How much do you think
I could buy in the restricted area?
$6.
I don't know, but I'm just telling you that you ought to drag Caitlin down here and come down and party because you ain't got a lot of shit going on in Massachusetts, and the South is currently popping off.
Well, I can't tell you this. They will give you a roll sheet, and you had better abide by every single one of them.
Windrock?
They do not play whatsoever.
All I'm gonna say on that is that I'm used to wheeling in New England, so like your rule sheet's probably gonna be like, oh shit, we can do this.
Yeah, it's pretty. We stick to a pretty steady like thing of rules anyway, so I'm really not that like. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. We don't really drink and wheel. We don't do anything stupid. We don't litter. We don't just fucking blow shit up for no reason. Like we're pretty normal, to be honest with you.
We're normal, but we're like at the far extreme as you can get on normal.
Oh, yeah, we still beat the living shit out of their rigs, but
I'd say the best way to describe it is on paper, we are the most rule-abiding people.
Yeah.
But sure, on the other hand,
we have to because we're in New England.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have 30 fucking parks within 20 minutes of our houses.
It's not that big of a deal at Windrock. We've never had a problem, but they do require you to keep your pass, whether it's a day pass, weekend pass, annual pass, whatever. It has to be on you at all times. So if you jump in somebody else's rig and go like, yeah, I'm just going to go ride with you, and they stop you, they'll write you up for trespassing, even though they could go look and see that you bought your pass and you're good to go. Just because you don't have it on you, they will write you up for trespassing.
Oh.
Huh. Well, that's so Roush is not that Nazi about it, but at Roush, if you are not riding the next day as a driver, you have to pay your passenger fee. Yeah. Like when I went.
It's only like $10, something like that, so it's not anything crazy. But
it's not crazy, but at the same time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And Windrock, it doesn't matter if you drive or you ride; it's the same price.
How much is it?
$35 a day.
Oh shit, that ain't fucking bad.
That's not bad. I mean, for a passenger, that's kind of crazy. Don't get me wrong; that's a little fucky. Yeah. But for a driver, fuck, that's not bad at all. It was like 57 or something like that for Roush this year.
Roush is about. Roush, between the membership, the park cost, and the donation to their insurance, is $55 for a driver. Yeah. Which, by the way, for the first day. The second day is cheaper because you've already paid into their yearly membership, so they drop that cost.
And you have to pay every day. You can't just go there and be like, I'm chilling for 5 days, like, here's all my money. No, they're like, no, you gotta come back in, sign the papers every day. It's like, I get it, but also like,
or what the fuck? The other option is you buy the trail pass for 6 months, which includes 6 trail rides. That's the only other option if you don't want to deal with that.
Okay, yeah. Windrock, you can pay for the whole day, or you can just buy your annual pass, which
I don't know if we invited you guys, but we'll give you guys the invite because, you know, you made the second appearance and all that. You are welcome to the Web Wheelers Ball 4.4.
4.4 now? Okay.
Well, we just did Web Wheelers Ball 2.2 was the last run that Barry made. Web Wheelers Ball 3.3 was the run that you went to. So 4.4 is the obvious progression. And that is going to be around Labor Day next year.
Or we take it over and make it the blue collar off-road run.
No, there's a lot of heritage behind that. It can be the blue collar Web Wheelers Ball, but it's still the Web Wheelers Ball 4.4.
Where's that at?
Where are you gonna have it at?
Pennsylvania.
Roush Creek, Pennsylvania. It's going to be about for you guys, if you are an hour away from me, it's an 11-hour trip to make it there.
It's worth it. It's
also
sick.
I gotta I'm not trying to fangirl too hard, but I do enjoy your guys' 6 blow. Like, that's tasteful. It's not fucking trashy. It's tasteful with the fucking lift and tire combo. Not terrible. I'll rate it a 7/7. And the Web Wheelers Ball, for if you guys don't know, it's our kind of similar to a meet and greet, like what you guys were talking about. It's a similar thing to that, but we have people come out from Michigan, we have people come from New England, and it's kind of the central meeting place for all of us. And
we invite the guests that we have on the podcast too, as well. I mean, we also, like, if a listener, granted, like, if a listener wanted to go, we wouldn't be like, no, you can't come, fuck you, like, it's an open place, just come and hang out. but like we directly invite like people that we have for guests and whatnot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
We've definitely talked about trying to venture out and, experience more than just the normal 3 parks that we usually go to.
Cool. Oh, well, shit, then come all the way up to my place. We'll have a blast.
Next year, Curtis is planning a 1-week trip up New England.
Oh, Curtis is planning a 1-week trip up to New England, but I'm going to have to get more fucking dates out of him than just, like, a 1-week trip. Whereas we know the Web Wheelers Ball is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, like, if they really wanted to make, like, a fun, like, if they wanted to make it worth it for the trip, it'd probably be that week, because I know that, like, we were planning on, like, planning out different properties all across New England to go to really just show him and others, like, what New England wheeling's about and all that.
It's going to sound really stupid, but what the fuck is the name of that property?
I don't know. You tell me. Brookridge, yeah.
I would legitimately pay good money to go and run the Reds on Brookridge again.
Brookridge?
The Reds there? Holy fuck, are those insane. I would pay good money for that.
Brookridge.
Yeah, Brookridge. I know exactly what you're thinking.
Oh!
All the new cut Reds that I did with Colin and them? Holy fuck, that is a G killer.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, Brookridge would be alright because the blacks and blues are fun.
And we could camp there and then hit Battlegrounds the next day.
I'm not camping there. It's a gross, buggy mess. I'll sleep in the fucking truck before I camp there. It's gross.
Alright, so, I mean, with the people named Trail Trash, we can't be offended by sleeping in the truck.
Dude, just standing in the parking lot, I've walked away with like 60 mosquito bites, and I was only there for like 5 minutes. Fuck sleeping there. I'd rather die.
On the trailer this weekend.
Yeah, on a hammock though, with a canopy over it. It was actually pretty nice.
There you go. That ain't bad.
You guys are so my people. So, like, my plans for any road trip that's like decent in length is keep the mullet in check. Show up with a fucking at least 12 rack, if not preferably 18 or 30 rack of good beer, like, and higher proof than Bud Light. And,
Natterdays.
Dude, I'm down with Natterdays if we're gonna be fucking partying all night long.
Platinums, Bud Light Platinums. That's the way to go right there.
Alright, fucking New England trash.
Just
go straight Budweiser.
Miller High Life are pretty good too. Those things are cheap. You get an 18-pack for like $7. It's fucking
I'm a Miller guy. That's
yeah. Dude, it still blows me away that like a 12-pack is like, I think it's $7.30, and then an 18-pack is like $9. You're getting almost double the beer. What the fuck? How does that even make sense? Like, it's crazy.
I really have been enjoying, since I moved, the Sweetwater Brewing Co. out of Athens, Georgia.
Gentleman Jack. Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Get the single barrel, puss.
Keep that motherfucker on me,
Get the single barrel.
Alright, so I think we covered a decent amount of shit tonight. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah,
Any
thanks for
closing remarks?
And remember, check them out on YouTube at Trail Trash and also at Instagram, Trail Trash.
Yeah, their YouTube channel is surprisingly enjoyable, even if you're an autist.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Fucking go with it. He's autistic. Leave him alone.
I've watched it and I don't know, I'm normal and I think it's phenomenal. What do you mean it's surprisingly good? No, it's fucking good content. Go fucking watch it, alright? What else do you want me to say?
I'm saying that if you're an autist, they have a decent enough balance of technical information that you can fucking deal with watching it, and it doesn't make you want to stab your eyes out. So on that note, have a good fucking night.
You guys are a weird ad.
What the